Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Stuart's Classic Bikes and Cars. Well, today I'm just checking, this is the spare crankshaft out of the little Kawasaki HD3. It's only one I bought as a spare, so I was just going to check it to see if it's in line, to see if it's worth messing about with before I start spending any money on it. Because what I want to do, I want to split this crank, I want to change the conrod, put a new conrod in, I want to put a new big end in, which is this pin that goes through here. This is the big end pin that goes through here, that's the big end, that's the small end. So I want to change this conrod to a different conrod. I want to put a conrod in that's 106mm, which is longer than standard. I want to put a special small end in here, which is silver plated, which will be better for racing. But all I want to do now is just to check that this is worth messing about with. It seems in pretty good condition actually. I've got this little alignment checking rig here. It's not very good, it's only a cheap bit of a rig, but it will do it. So we have a dial test indicator here, which is, it's an imperial one measured in thousandths of an inch. So the smallest graduation, 0 to 10, is 0 to 10 thousandths of an inch. So we're just going to put it on the crank wheels and just see how accurate this crank is as to use the spare crank. So we'll put this on, then I'll adjust the camera so you can see. So we'll put this on here. So we'll set that to 0, then we'll just spin the crank, just hold the conrod out of the way. Just let me see if I can rig this up a little bit better. Never have enough pairs of hands in this job. Right, we'll put it on there, that's out of the way of the crankshaft, out of the way of the conrod. Slacken the clock off. Put it on the crank wheel, the left hand crank wheel. Tighten up the make sure they're tight. Make sure we have a 0 every time, so it's clocks. Right, so that's set to 0, and we're just going to check this crank wheel. So if we just get a mark on the pen for a minute. There we go. I'll just put a mark on there and call that 0. Right, so that's our starting point. Because the problem is, these wheels have some little imperfections in, and it's bouncing the clock all over. So what I want to do that's 0. If I put that to the bottom, that's 180 and that's 90. So let's just see where we are. So that's 0 at a 0 mark. So at 90, it's +3, which is no good. And at 180, it's 1/1000th of an inch. Then we're back to 0 again. Right, 0. So this is no gooder. But also, this cheap and cheerful alignment rig is too bendy. I'm going to have to do some improvements to this rig. Because see this, when I move that, I can move the clock by 5/1000th of an inch just by touching that. So let's try and do it delicately without upsetting everything. That's it. Let's start again. 0 point with 0 on the clock. At 180 with 0. At 90 with +2/1000th of an inch. And at 0 again. So this flywheel assembly isn't accurate enough for me to race with. So what we need to do, because I need to set these clocks up so when I reassemble this with a new big end pin and a new conrod in it, it's within half a thou. But in this at the moment, it's 0 to +3 thou. So it's way out of tolerance to race with. Yeah, it's 2 to 3 thou out this is, on that wheel. Let's just check this other wheel. And I'd imagine it's the same. Right, let's go to our 0 point. I'll just put on my pen. I turn the clock to 0. So if we go to 90 from the 0, with 0 still. That's the problem with getting older. Apart from having to wear glasses, I can hardly see anything these days. Right, there we go. Put a bit of light on the job. 0. At 0. At 180, we're -1. At 90, we're 0. And 0. So this wheel is 0 to -1, which is still a little bit out of tolerance actually. So what we are normally, I like to put the clock on the end here, because it gives you a better. If there's a misalignment with these two wheels, the furthest away from where they're put together, which is here, it will show the misalignment easier. The problem with this crankshaft is I've got a taper here and a thread here. So I can't really run the clock on this thread at the end where I would normally like to run. I could run it there, which is quite close to the bearing, so I don't think it'll make a lot of difference. But well, let's just try and have a look and see. Light's blinding me. Just run that clock on that diameter there. It's quite close to there, so I think all it'll do is just so 0, 0, because it's right next to the bearing diameter. Move that out of the way. Yeah, it's just reading 0 there. I really want to be here, but unfortunately I can't get there. But I have checked these crank webs, so I do know this flywheel is out by 2,000 or 3,000. So when we reassemble it, when we put the new rod on it all, we'll take this, like I said, we'll take this conrod out and put a new conrod in it, new bearings. We'll change these, we'll put new main bearings on it also. But apart from that, the crank's not in too bad a condition. So stay watching me, please try and subscribe, because on the next episode I've got some equipment coming. I'm going to split this crankshaft. I'm going to use a hydraulic press this apart. I'm going to put a new conrod in it, then we're going to reassemble it, and I'll show you how to reassemble it and keep it more accurate than this one. Well, that's all for now. Keep watching and keep following me. I hope you're interested in watching this 2-stroke tuning from Stuart. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.